operations with scientific notation. This time we're going to do a little bit of subtraction. We want to know how many more people live in the US than in Mexico. And because our power of 10 is the same, 10 to the 8th, 10 to the 8th, we can just do pretty simple subtraction. We're going to do 3.1 minus 1.1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 3 minus 1 is 2, so 2.0. And then we just have to put back on our power of 10. So 2.0 times 10 to the 8th people, that's how many more people there are in the United States, at least when they wrote this book, whenever that was, versus how many people lived in Mexico. And we could do the same thing with Canada, right? So Canada, put Canada back up here, and they have 3.38 times 10 to the 7th. Remember, you can't take the 3.38 away. 3.38 is bigger than 3.1, and so it actually looked like Canada had a bigger population. So we have to look at the power of 10. We need this to have the same power of 10. Let's, instead of converting this to the power of 10 to the 8th, let's convert this one to 10 to the power of 7. And so if we're going to do that, we were going to move the decimal display this time, right? So that gives me 31 times 10 to the 7. 31 times 10 to the 7 is the same thing. It's equal to 3.1 times 10 to the 8th. This one's scientific notation. This one's not, because this number is greater than 9. But we can now do this. We have 31 times 10 to the 7th, and we're going to subtract the 3.38. We should put in some zeros right here and our decimal. And we're just going to subtract that, and that will give us how many more people are in the United States than there are in Canada. 0 subtract 8. Can't do that. We can't borrow from here either, because 0 can't subtract 3, and there's nothing to borrow. So we have to go all the way to this 1. We're going to borrow from the 1, make that a 0, make that a 10. Now we can borrow from the 10, make that a 9. Thank you for lending us a 1 and making us a 10. Remember, 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 3 is 6. And then I can do this in two ways. I can borrow from the 3. This is just a subtraction review real quick. I can borrow from the 3, make this a 10, or I could just do 30 minus 3. I'm going to go ahead and borrow from the 3 this time, make that a 2. 10 minus 3 is 7, and bring down my 2. And you'll notice 30 minus 3 is 27, and so is 10 minus 3 and 2 minus 0. So 27.26, and then I need my power of 10. This is times 10 to the 7th, because we converted this to a 10 to the 7th, and that's a 10 to the 7th. But if we want this in scientific notation, remember, this has to be between 1 and 9, and that is not between 1 and 9. That's much bigger than 1 and 9, 3 times actually. And so we want this to be, we're going to move our decimal, and because we're moving it this way, we're going to increase our power. So this is going to be 2.762 times 10 to the 8th. More people in the United States than in Canada.